Hey guys, so this video is the video I promised you yesterday with the patch notes, and it's why everyone is so pissed about the brand new Sealed Book of Combat and Blessing of Kamasylve on the Pearl Shop, as well as why the uproar on Reddit and in the official forums is going on. So, to give you some background to this, when Black Desert released, it was a buy-to-play game. It was $30. It was more if you got the Explorers or Travelers packs. And we were promised, because in the beta, everyone was very specific in their feedback that we did not want there to be the pay-to-win and sort of cash shop elements in the North American and European localization of the game that the game was known for in Korea. We were well aware that the Korean version was pay to win, that there was lots of pay for convenience and other stuff in the cash shop, and we wanted none of that. So the compromise was, instead of being a free-to-play game like it is in Korea, we would have a cash shop with mostly cosmetic items, and for the most part that would be it. We wouldn't have pay-to-win stuff, wouldn't be able to buy power, and for the most part people were happy with this. Then they added a few things. The first thing was the ghillie suit. People weren't too happy with the ghillie suit, but getting over the ghillie suit wasn't too hard, because the ghillie suit is easy to get over. You look at the ghillie suit, and the power it gives is not obvious, and also it's not that bad. It makes it a little harder to see someone because their nameplate doesn't appear. It makes it a little harder to call out who you're fighting in open PvP, and it does look pretty cool, but really all it does is make ganking people a little easier, as well as a little harder for retaliation to happen. Like, if I'm wearing the ghillie suit, it's a lot harder for them to declare on my guild, because even if I'm karma bombing them, they have problem as long as I don't let them kill me or I don't kill them. They can't see who I am, and thus they can't figure out who I am or who my guild is. But the ghillie suit, its power isn't really tremendous. It's not like it lets you win any fight you fight. It's not like it lets you take a spot 1v1 without any troubles. So for the most part, we let it slide. The first and probably the biggest exodus in the history of Black Desert was a few months later when they released the Value Pack. So the Value Pack is basically the subscription in Black Desert. For $15 a month, US, same as World of Warcraft's subscription fee, you get a ton of benefits that cannot really be purchased by a free-to-play player. And that's the big thing. Pay to win, the problem with pay to win and describing Black Desert as pay to win is there's two main definitions of pay to win. One is you can literally pay to win. You can buy gear and items that are not possible to be earned by players that are playing the game free to play and can only be purchased from the cash shop. The other is that these items, it's really just the second part. You are using items that are impossible to earn but just by playing the game, and can only be obtained from the cash shop, and that give you a benefit in some way. And that is what Black Desert really is. A lot of people try to say Black Desert's not pay to win because you can't just buy pen dandelions or pen zarkas or other boss gear right off the cash shop. You do have to play the game to get it. But the fact that you can get stuff such as costumes and sell it on the marketplace, you can buy weight or inventory, and there's no way for a free-to-play player to earn any more of that than what they're given for free in the quest by the Black Spirit, really does make the game pay to win. And Value Pack is one of the biggest offenders for this. 16 inventory expansion slots, 16 storage expansion slots in every city, combat skill and life and horse experience plus 10%. Max weight limit plus 100 LT, 30% bonus to the marketplace sales collection amount, which really is what makes processing profitable. Unlimited use of Merv's Palette, which lets you dye all your gear, and unlimited use of the beauty salon, which means you don't have to pay pearls for appearance coupons. The Value Pack is huge, and that's not even including probably the most convenient of all of them, which is the Distant Node investment for 10 energy. So not even including the fact that we're looking at energy in a buy-to-play PC game here. But distant node investment can save you so much time and effort when you're trying to retool your worker empire. It's insane. If I'm in Heidel, which is one of the most central places in the game, and I want to go mess around with workers and my nodes in Caltheon, Valencia, Trent, Olvia, and Kamasylve, I would have to spend hours running between all these spots, unless I had like a Pegasus or something and could get to each spot within 5 minutes. It is insane how much time this really saves you. And you can say, oh, but the value pack doesn't provide any tangible benefits in PvP, and that would be correct. But the amount of benefits you receive in other parts of the game is insane. And what a lot of people don't seem to realize is Black Desert is not just a PvP game. Yes, it is a game that is widely known for PvP, as the end game is all about PvP, and grinding is all about world PvP. But in the end, Black Desert is a sandbox MMO, and there's a lot more to do in the game than just PvP, and the value pack provides benefits for all of them, including PvP, because PvP in Black Desert is all about gear. Yes, skill level is a factor, but no skill level is going to save you if you're wearing full duo against someone in full Tet boss gear. They are just going to roll right over you, probably without even having to hit you more than once, because that is how big the difference is. So the value pack was really the first big exodus in Black Desert. People felt betrayed, they felt lied to, and they quit en masse. And for a while, Black Desert kind of flew under the radar. There was no server lag, well, very minimal server lag, because there weren't that many people on the servers. The player base kind of grew more powerful at the same time because there weren't too many new players coming in. And for a time, it was kind of peaceful. It didn't really surface up too much in the MMO world. People didn't talk about it too much. And then the Steam release happened, and a ton of players joined Black Desert. The servers got way worse again, and people started looking at all the pay-to-win aspects again, because the players that remained were players that were either fine with pay-to-win aspects, or they were players that were fine with paying to win. Those were really the players that were left. So several more items were released, and these items in the past few weeks have included stuff such as the Napart campsite. Amerigo's welcome package was pretty big when it came out because of the hedgehog pet, which does wonders for gathering. There's a few other small items like that, and there's a few other ways that they've really done to make people spend pearls. One of the most egregious, in my opinion, are these little things that they've added to your weight in your inventory, as well as allowing you to use pearls to speed up completion of stuff such as your worker promotions. All kind of nickel and dime stuff that really has no place in a PC game and is more suited to a free-to-play cell phone game. But I digress. A lot of stuff have been added, and it's kind of been slow, and people, for the most part, accepted it, even if they weren't too happy. The Napart campsite really, this was only a few weeks ago, and a lot of us have kind of made fun of the campsite because you're spending $50 US for a campsite. Like, bitch, that's $50. I could get a real tent for less than $50. Like, I could go on Craigslist right now and probably find a tent for like $30. You can probably have bed bugs in it or something, but shit, man, that's a real tent. This is a virtual tent. It looks nice. Like, geez, if I can get this tent in real life for $50, no problem. I'm getting it right away. But it's a virtual campsite, and it's $50. So a lot of people, understandably, there's a kind of a trend between mockery and frustration with the campsite, because it does make life a lot easier for people that have it, and it's a pretty powerful item, but it's also $50 US, which is insane. But really the straw that is breaking the camel's back right now is the addition of the Sealed Book of Combat and the Blessing of Kamasylve. So for a lot of players, Blessing of Kamasylve is probably the most powerful item they've ever added to the shop, really since the game added inventory and weight to the shop, which I believe was back in beta. It's been a long time. It's on par with the value pack for sure. And all it is two simple lines: energy recovery +2 and item drop rate +20%. So Sealed Book of Combat, it's a lot easier to evaluate. It's 50% more combat experience and 20% more skill experience. The way you have to use it's annoying, because even though it lasts for 15 days, it only gives you a 24-hour buff when you use it, and then you've got to keep using the book to give yourself the buff every 24 hours, or else you don't have the buff, and the book expires once the 15 days are done. But I mean, it's basically like farming at night. all day. You can farm at night. It's half of the value of the Alvia server. It's a pretty big buff, and it's pretty obvious why it's good. But the Blessing of Kamasylve is a bit more deceptive, and I would say a bit more powerful. Your base energy recovery rate in Black Desert is 1 energy per 3 minutes, or 20 energy per hour, while online, and 1 energy per 20 minutes while offline. So all characters you're not currently logged into will receive 1 energy every 20 minutes. With the Blessing of Kamasylve, your energy recovery goes +2, which gives you 3 energy every 3 minutes, or 60 energy per hour. So basically 1 energy per minute is what you can really condense that down to. And that is really just triples the amount of stuff you can do with energy in a day. As long as you make sure to use your energy as much as possible and don't max out, which isn't too hard if you actually gone and completed energy topics and actively gather or roll for workers or night vendor, then you can really just use all this energy and then come back 2 or 3 hours later and have more energy. And if you combine this with a bed, the only other way to improve the energy recovery rate in the game, another premium item, you can go up to 5 energy every 3 minutes, which is pretty insane. I believe that's 100 energy per hour. It's pretty big. So the drawback of the bed was obviously that the bed forces you to put your character to sleep. It's like you're putting your character in nap time and then go do something else and come back to your character having energy. So there was a trade-off. Yes, you had more energy, but at the same time, you had to ignore your character for a while. You had to go AFK and do something else, either in real life or play some other game. With Blessing of Kamasylve, you are free to continue grinding or continue gathering or processing or cooking, do whatever you want while still getting the increased energy rate. And also the energy recovery, while it's pretty huge for gatherers who can get a ton of extra stuff now, it's pretty huge for people that reroll workers, pretty huge for people that want to do night vendor. The item drop rate is also pretty damn powerful, because the item drop rate, plus 20%, means you are going to gain 20% more silver when grinding. All the item drop rate does is increase the amount of items that drop by 20%. However, this means you have a 20% better chance to get high value accessories, such as the Ogre Ring, Schultz Necklace, Sissel's Necklace, anything big like that. Armor stuff, such as Grunel sets or magic crystals. And the big one, which actually makes you the most money in a average farming session, which is turn-ins. When you're farming Saucins, Rogues, Manchas, whatever you're farming, the most of your money you're getting is not coming from the big, the big dick drops, which is like the magic crystals or the Schultz necklaces. You're getting most of your money from the turn-ins. The little pouches you get from ordering Rogues, all those random supplies and stuff you get from Saucins that you can turn into a random NPC for a gold bar. 20% more turn-ins means 20% more silver in the form of gold bars, which is especially good because a lot of people don't sell the Blackstones, they don't sell the magic crystals, they don't sell the accessories. They use them themselves or they'll store them for later use. Just direct silver is pretty good. So Blessing of Kamasylve is a huge addition to the game in terms of power creep. If you have a Blessing of Kamasylve active and someone else doesn't, and you're both grinding, you are now going to get 20% more items dropped. If you also have tier 5 pets, tier 4 pets, 5 tier 4 pets, you have maybe a campsite, you have maximum weight limit, and the other guy has nothing. They have maybe 5 tier 1 pets, which, that's still $50 right there. You are going to farm and grind and probably get 3 or 4 times as much as they will in the same grind session, because they're going to have to keep going back to their horse to put stuff away or their wagon. They're going to be missing a lot of items that their pets aren't picking up because they only have tier 1 pets. They're not going to be able to repair their gear because they don't have a campsite. And also, if you have the Sealed Book of Combat active, you'll have the extra experience that you're getting as well, so it's not just silver you're getting, but experience. If you have the value pack, you have an extra 100 weight. If they don't have any weight at all, you can carry something like 3 or 4 times as much as they can. There's a ton of stuff that someone that's paying in this game gets ahead of someone that's not paying. And for the most part, if you're paying to get ahead in this game, it's fine. But the problem is how much you can get ahead. Because as a PC game and as an MMO, Western gamers have the basic expectation that as long as you play the game, you can kind of play catch-up with someone that's been spending money to get ahead in the game. Yes, they will get ahead faster, but as long as you play enough, you will catch up. But Black Desert does not have the gear treadmill that other games have. We are still on a gear treadmill, but we don't have the stereotypical gear treadmill that we talk about when we're speaking of the gear treadmills such as World of Warcraft's, where a new armor set comes out every month or so that is better than the previous armor set and that you need to grind for. Instead, we have plus 20 enhancement system, which means that since there's only, I believe, one person in the world that has full pen, and I'm not even sure about that, if there's even one person, everyone is competing to improve their gear at the same rate. And to improve your gear, you need silver. And to get silver, you need to grind or AFK life skill. And to get silver efficiently, you need to grind. And then to use that silver efficiently, there's other stuff such as the Artisan's Memories. Wherever the hell that is. Did I pass it? I probably passed it, didn't I? I don't see it. Here it is, Artisan's Memories. I passed it. Such as this will quadruple the amount that silver goes for when repairing items, for durability, for using a limited number of memory fragments. If you have a value pack, you're getting much more silver from selling stuff on the marketplace. If you have all those items for grinding, you're getting much more silver from grinding. Same with experience. And it really makes the imbalance fairly obvious. So the reason people are kind of feeling betrayed is because they said they would never put stuff such as the Blessing of Kamasylve into the cash shop. And what I believe the exact words were not that we would never do it, but there are no plans to at this time, which is kind of a cop-out because no plans to at this time, or the equivalent, whatever they said, is basically saying, yeah, sure, it's not in the game right now. We could totally put it in. That's like if I ask, you're never going to sell pen items on the cash shop, right? And then I'm going, no, trust me, no worries. There's no plans to sell pen items in the cash shop right now, or at this time, or whatever. And really all that means is that next week, when at the board meeting, some upper-level executive that doesn't play the game says, hey, we need more money, investors are calling, and they want to find out what our newest revenue stream from the game is, and someone pitches, oh, we could sell pen items, that all of a sudden there is a plan to sell pen items in the game. It just wasn't when the player asked. And then the week after that, when the patch goes up and there's pen items in the game and everyone points back to that interview, they can just say, oh no, we just said there were no plans at the time, it was pitched later, we thought it was a good idea that won't affect the competitive integrity of the game because everyone has a fair chance to, spend money in the cash shop to buy a pen dandelion. So really, players are pissed, and you can see this in Reddit. So if I go over to Reddit here. So this is a nice poem that was posted recently. I can't really attribute the whoever posted it first because there's a few different sources. But it goes like this. Roses are red, violets are blue. Servers are lagging, and I blame you. Mystics OP, sieges are trash, but you only care about Kakao Cash. Balance is bad, veterans quit, players grow tired of your bullshit. Korea got LAN, Brazil got a bomb, and all EU gets is pay-to-win scam. So apart from the obvious niceness of the poem, it flows pretty well. It's pretty much true if you look at the state of the game. The servers have been lagging like crazy recently, kind of like about 2 months ago. Mystic is definitely OP, same with Striker. Striker's been OP for months, Mystic's fairly new. Sieges, there's huge, I don't actually siege myself, but there's huge complaints about lag at sieges right now. Man Up has held Valencia for something like half a year at this point because no one can challenge them for it. Balance is pretty awful. Mystic, as is already mentioned, is OP. Meanwhile, other classes such as Musa are currently still in the process of getting shit on. Veterans are quitting. So Veterans quit is most likely a reference to FML quitting. They quit en masse. They were one of the biggest guilds in the game in terms of combat power. And they quit en masse a couple months ago. Players are getting pretty tired of Kakao. And we know that... So Kakao's excuse recently for why we don't have raw bomb skills, why we don't have the LAN yet, is that Pearl Abyss has said that we will get raw bomb skills when we are ready. Currently, we are not ready because we are behind Korea, where Korea was in terms of overall player combat level. And ray bombs is a massive boost in power, and they don't want to give it to us before our power levels kind of reach where we need to be for ray bombs. And on the surface, that's a pretty good excuse. If ray bombs is, or raw bombs, I don't know how to pronounce it, is balanced for an average AP of 230, and the player base has an average AP of 170, then either Ray Bombs will be super underwhelming on release because the skills will feel like they do nothing because they're balanced for people that have much more AP, or they'll be really OP and all of a sudden it won't matter because we'll be one-shotting all these monsters. But Brazil got it last week, and Brazil got Awakening a week before that. So clearly, Brazil, who only just got their Awakening, is not ahead of North America and Europe. But they got Rabom anyways. And Korea, for some reason, even though last year on the Steam release, it looked like we were about to catch up to Korea in terms of balance patches. We would be getting Kamasylve soon. We got the Striker really quickly after the Striker release in Korea. All of a sudden, things were delayed again. Mystic got delayed by like 3 months. Kamasylve didn't get released until much later in the year. And now Korea has LAN. Korea has LAN's Awakening. And we're stuck with nothing. And this is not the only thing in the subreddit or in the forums that is really showing the players' discontent. Make BDO great again. This has been posted again. This was posted back when the value pack fiasco was going on. Coming to the Pearl Shop soon. There's plenty of memes about stuff coming to the Pearl Shop. There are lots of gaming websites are actually picking up on the pay-to-win problem in Black Desert. Massively OP, MMO games. There's another one from MMOs.com. Kakao Games lands $131 million in investor funding. So you can really see that they're not going to stop. They're getting investor funding because investors see just how much money they're bringing in. And investors, they don't really care if Kakao runs the game into the ground. They just want Kakao to make as much money as possible. A few stuff about unrelated stuff. All the people complain about pay-to-win. So really, I mean, pay-to-win's been in the game pretty much since the beginning. Lodgings, expansion coupons, storage coupons, the Venesil and Canapé sets, Artisan's Memory. All this stuff has been in the game for a long time by now. But it's not so much that players didn't see that was pay to win, as it is that it's them continuously telling us that, oh, okay, we're going to stop, and then adding more. Like, this is a pretty good list of all the stuff. Artisan's Memories, Ghillie Suit, Processing Cooking Outfits, Golden Bells, Value Packs, Horse Skills, Costumes selling on the marketplace, Tents, less durability usage for costumes, weight limits, inventory spaces, worker lodges, and stuff like that. But really, it's the Blessing of Kamasylve and the Book of Combat that are kind of breaking the camel's back on this. Like, Kakao is treating this game not as a game that you had to purchase and play on the PC as an MMO, but as a freemium mobile game where they're just trying to milk their players or their customers for as much money as they possibly can before releasing the next game. So one of the hypotheses that I have about this is that Kakao could be in danger of losing the Black Desert license that Pearl Abyss gave them. Kakao is not the developer of Black Desert. They are only the publisher in Europe and North America. Not sure about other regions. I just know EU and NA. Pearl Abyss has kind of shown that they are not happy with how Kakao has been running the game. And if Kakao is in danger of losing them, Kakao would like to make as much money as they possibly can before they lose the license forever. The other thing that could be happening is that Kakao is just treating this as a quick cash grab. As long as they keep putting more stuff into the store, players are going to keep buying them. Players are going to keep quitting as well, which is definitely a big problem. But as long as players keep buying them, Kakao is going to keep doing this. The Sealed Book of Combat and the Blessing of Kamasylve are just the two newest ones, and the pricing is pretty egregious, same as Napart Campsite. The Blessing of Kamasylve, so the value pack, if you look at it, is only 1,500 pearls for 30 days, which is pretty standard for a subscription fee in Western MMOs. Whether or not the price is worth it is another thing, but it's pretty standard for a subscription fee in MMOs. The Sealed Book of Combat and Blessing of Kamasylve are 1,250 pearls, so only 250 pearls less, 1,250. But they only last 15 days, which means if you want them for a month, like the value pack, you need to pay 2,500 pearls each. If you want both of them for the month, that's $50 a month just to have these two buffs running. And if you add the value pack on top of that, it's $65 a month. That's a new game every month just to have those 3 buffs running. And that's not all you need in the game either. It's not like these are going to give you 5 pets or anything, or 5 upgraded pets even. You're not going to have a campsite because of that. You're not going to have max weight or max inventory. You're not going to have a costume. You're not going to have enough extra storage enough extra storage space. There is so much extra stuff that you will not have if you're just buying these, but they still expect you to pay $65 a month if you want them. This is really kind of like mobile game pricing. Mobile games price so high because they're trying to attract whales. They know that it's better for them in terms of money to attract one whale that will spend $500 a month than it is to attract 100 non-whales that will spend $2 or $3 a month. So they price stuff so that the whales will purchase them. And really, it's a real shame, honestly, because Black Desert at its core is a beautiful game. It has some of the nicest, most fluid combat I have ever played in any MMO. The PvP, when you're against someone of equal gearing, is very fun. The guild system is nice. I like working with my guild to finish quests. I like doing guild bosses. I like just, talking shit with my guildmates in guild chat. The game itself is absolutely beautiful. And look at the competition Black Desert has. World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Old School RuneScape, Final Fantasy XIV. That's pretty much all the major MMOs. Add in Black Desert, and you've got pretty much the top 5, I would say. Old School RuneScape, World of Warcraft, the graphics are crazy outdated. Like, they look cartoony as hell. Old School RuneScape, it's a purposeful choice, as that is how the gamers want it. But World of Warcraft is really just nostalgia at this point. Guild Wars 2 graphics are a bit nicer, still nowhere near Black Desert's level though. And Guild Wars 2 has a very similar model to Black Desert in that it's a buy-to-play game with a cash shop that doesn't have a subscription. And Guild Wars 2, the strange thing is, I played it almost as much as I played Black Desert, had a ton of fun in it, and yet combat's almost as good as Black Desert's combat, and yet I never felt the need to spend a dime in their cash shop. Their cash shop seemed very fair, lots of stuff. If I'd had more money, I probably would have supported ArenaNet through purchasing it. But apart from buying the base game and one of the expansions later on, I never felt the need to spend a dime on it. Black Desert, I've probably spent $200 or more. I'd rather not admit it to myself how much I've spent on this game. And, I mean, look at my progression in the game. I'm a mid-tier player. I have a few pieces of tri-gear, I have all the boss gear, but I can't upgrade it because I'm not willing to farm for memory fragments. I've got several billion worth of total value in all my storages. I have processing outfit. I've played for 90 days online time on this character alone. Like, if I look at this character, 90 days and 31 minutes of time. Now, sure, granted, a lot of that will be AFK time. My processing is Master 12, Artisan Cooking is Artisan 8, and I think I have Artisan Cooking and I want to say Master 1 processing on my Musa, as well as, I think, Artisan Fishing. But a lot of that time was also grinding. I'm level 59. I got that before the grinding buffs, really, that made it a lot easier to get to 60. Spent several hours a night for several weeks straight just grinding rogues. So, I mean, it's not like I took the easy path. I decided to grind rogues because it was easy and fun. Grinding was a lot of fun for sure, but it's not like let's do flax for no reason whatsoever. But it's not like, do you heat flax? I don't think you heat flax. Oh, you do heat flax. But I mean, it's not like all this was AFK time, and even if it was, that's 90 days of my computer being online just on my Dark Knight alone. 90 days of every time I went to sleep, every time I went to work, leaving my computer online, making sure I'm doing all the AFK activities. And I'm still just a mid-tier player. Like, I expect this sort of kind of grind from a free-to-play mobile game, where they kind of need to keep you engaged and need to keep you chasing after the next level of power. But I don't really expect that from an MMO, especially one that I've sunk as much time and money into as Black Desert. And it really is a shame because, like I said, Black Desert is crazy fun. The base game is amazing. It's pretty. It's beautiful. It's got so much to do. It's a sandbox MMO, which is so rare in 2018. Like, I can't even name any other successful sandbox MMOs other than Old School RuneScape. Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, and Final Fantasy XIV are theme park MMOs, really. Same with Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls is kind of sandbox, but not really. Like, it's such a great game, and it kills me to see Kakao doing this. I've got 1,800 pearls, and that's probably going to be the last pearl purchase I make. This was about a month ago, I want to say. Just because Kakao does not show that they are doing what is best for the game. If they were actively reducing pay-to-win mechanics, making the value pack cheaper, or even, they could have rolled the Blessing of Kamasylve into the value pack. Give a 15-day Blessing of Kamasylve when you buy a value pack. Boom, all of a sudden a lot of people are buying value packs. Same with Sealed Book of Combat. They could have done both of those. If the Knapheart campsite was like $10 instead of 50, if pets could not be taken up to tier 5 or tier 4 rather, but could instead only go to tier 2 or 3, it would still be unacceptable because that's still like $150 for pets. But I mean, at least tier 1 pets aren't suddenly as useless as they are right now compared to someone's tier 4 pets. If weight and inventory were not character bound instead of being family bound, and being quite honest, that is probably the biggest problem I have with the game. Like the fact that I've got full weight on a character, which cost me about $50, and yet none of my other characters have even close to the amount of weight that she has, is ridiculous. And the fact that they also double dip into inventory is even more stupid, but I digress. The fact that they do all of this really just shows me that Kakao is treating this game like a quick cash grab. I know freemium mobile games. I play a lot of them. Like, I'm playing King's Raid right now. And King's Raid is a game that I willingly support every month. I pay between $5 and $15 a month for King's Raid based on which subscription packages I want, because I recognize that King's Raid is a great game, Vespa's a great developer, and I want more games to emulate King's Raid, and thus I show my support to Vespa by giving them money. And, it helps me out too, but I don't need to do it. I can actually still progress in King's Raid just by playing the game as a free-to-play. And I've actually got an account that I'm doing that with as well over here. Yay, free-to-play. Woo, level 13. Kakao is treating this game worse than a lot of the mobile games I've played recently, and that's just sad. Like, having bad servers, having problems with sieges, having problems with the content, having problems with pay-to-win, any one of these is kind of not necessarily acceptable, but you can understand if there's any one of these problems alone. The problem is that these problems are not alone. These problems are all in conjunction with each other, and they're all happening at the same time. Like, I've been kicked off out of the servers 2 or 3 times in the last 48 hours. I've had a few problems with lag, just getting from place to place. Chat's not sending for 2 or 3 minutes at a time. And, if it was just lag, I could laugh it off, be like, okay, Kakao needs to get better servers. A lot of my friends complain about pay-to-win or the enhancement system. And if it was just the enhancement system, which is kind of stupid, I could understand and be like, okay, yeah, the enhancement system sucks, but the game itself, apart from that, is amazing. The problem is, it's all happening at once, and Kakao is not really showing any willingness to fix it all. Like, I know it's a kind of tired refrain at this point, but Black Desert is such a good game. Everyone realizes this. Black Desert, it's done so well in the West because the West is so hungry for a game like this. A game with open world PvP, a game with life skilling, a game with exploration, no fast travel, like more old school, a game where you can keep progressing no matter what. And Black Desert is that game, except that it's got all this bullshit piled on top of it with pay-to-win stuff, cash shop stuff, weight and inventory purchases, all the lag going on right now, the events that aren't necessarily the greatest, having to keep your computer online 24/7. Like, really, Black Desert is the game the West wants, but Kakao is simply not the publisher that the West deserves. Anyways, guys, I know this video is a little long-winded, but really, like, the myself and the community are pissed off at Kakao. Like, it is not difficult to simply not have that much pay-to-win in your game. Because if this was a smaller game, like if this was an MMO with like 10,000 players, it would be totally understandable that Kakao would need to do whatever was possible to earn money. Only really the biggest games, a fallacy a lot of people don't seem to realize they're making, is that only really the biggest games can kind of survive on cosmetic purchases only. Overwatch, League of Legends, games like that can survive on cosmetic-only purchases because they're so big that the number of players playing can make up for the slightly lesser income if the game is fun and offers cosmetic options to support the developer or to make their characters look amazing. Black Desert is big enough to do that. The problem is they're treating it like it's a small mobile game that they need to burn as much money from their customers as they possibly can before everyone moves on to the next mobile game that comes out next week, rather than a game that is coming up on its 2-year anniversary and is one of the biggest MMOs in the West. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. The state of Black Desert isn't the greatest right now, but the game itself is still really fun. I hope that everyone that still plays is enjoying it. Leave a message in the comments if you kind of feel that Kakao's current course is acceptable, or if you're just as annoyed as I am and the rest of a lot of people I know are, certainly Reddit. And have a good one. Thanks for watching.